It's been raining for days here. Now my sump pump starts humming, sounds like a motor running, for about a minute or less. When it stops, I can hear a loud clunk like possibly a lid coming down. Then I hear water draining for another minute or so and the cycle begins again. Humming.clunk.water. Water is starting to back up in the basement. This happened one other time about 5 years ago after a major rain. I can't remember how I fixed it.
Hello and thank you for using the service. I will assist you today with your question to the best of my ability. Do not rate service until completed.
Thank you.
The humming sound is, as you know, the motor running. The loud thump is the check valve slamming shut from the water pressure trying to enter back into the sump pit. My first question is: does the discharge drain go outside into the yard or into the sewer?
I've kind of gathered that from the research I've done so far. From what I've read, it could be a stuck impeller SP? Or possibly some air something is blocked. I don't know. I see something that looks like it goes out the wall of the basement. Let me run down and make sure that is coming from the sump pump.
If the impeller was stuck, there would be no clunk from the check valve, as this tells me water is being moved to some degree.
There is a pipe that goes out the top of the pump and through the basement wall. That's also where the gutter drain goes down into the yard. So I'm guessing it goes down into the yard.
Okay. So there is potential that the water has nowheres to go if the gutter drainage area is full.
Should I go outside and see if I can see if that's what's going on?
If airlock is a problem within the drainage discharge of the sump pump, then simply drilling in 1/8 of an inch hole in the discharge pipe near the base of the pump would fix the problem. If in fact the discharge is plugged out in the yard, then this could cause the same results.
So will drilling a hole possibly solve the problem either way?
If you can determine what's going on outside, it would rule out the possibility of the pipe being clogged.
Let me see if I can tell.
It will never hurt, as it is recommended anyhow by most manufacturers to prevent airlock. If the pipe is clogged, then you will need to work on clearing it with either a snake or routing the line to simply dump out in the backyard.
I can't hear the pump outside, but I can hear a whole bunch of water dumping and the clunk of the lid. Could the water be going back into the pump instead of draining like it should?
If you are hearing water running out, then the P is working. The clunk of the check valve is normal. It sounds Luke. Sorry. Sounds like you have a large amount of groundwater.
We've had a lot of rain. Several inches in the last few weeks, right after 12 inches of snow at the end of March.
From what you are describing, I would say it is working fine. It is working hard, but it is working.
Why is it making all of that noise? It doesn't normally do that. And why is water backing up into my basement?
Try holding the pump float switch so the pump stays running until the pit is about empty.
I'll need a little more specifics. I'm not sewer pump savvy. Where is this switch?
It's just more groundwater than the pump can handle.
And how do I know when the pit is about empty?
The float is attached to the switch. Do you have a rod attached to the float, or is it just a wire and a float ball?
Again, I'm confused. I haven't looked at the float. Not sure how to get at it. I haven't opened the pump at all.
Do you have a cover over the sump pit?
The pump is in a place I try to avoid due to the possibility of spiders. Let me look.
Okay, I understand. Let's try this. Is the pump plugged into an outlet?
It looks like there's a U-shaped cover. The pipe that goes outside goes down through the opening in the cover. I can see water when I look down into it. There is a cable going under the cover down into the hole. Of course, I didn't look to see if it was plugged into the wall. Let me go look. Yes. It is plugged into an outlet in the wall.
Okay, I hate to ask you to look again, but is there one or two wires going to the plug? If there is two wires, then there should be a plug plugged into another plug then into the outlet. What I'm saying is you may have one plug piggybacked onto another. If so, then separate the two plugs and the one on the outside can be plugged in all by itself. This will turn the pump on. Let it run until you hear gurgling air sounds from the sump pit.
Let me go look. It is one big cable from top to bottom with one plug.
Okay. Well, it was worth a try. The float and switches in the tank all connected to the pump internally. I was hoping we could bypass the float and make the pump run without you having to open the cover and stick your hands down where the spiders are.
I'll make my son do it. What am I looking for?
Perfect. He is looking for a ball attached to the side of the pump. He will need to lift up on it and make the pump run or hold it up until the pit empties or goes way down. This way we know the pump is working properly.
Okay. Give me a few minutes.
It will look like this. http://www.plumbingsupply.com/alarm.html. How are we making out? Any headway?
I don't see anything like that. Full-size image. Is it the handle-looking thing all the way down on the bottom?
Okay, you're right. In the silver box on the side of the pump is the switching mechanism. However, it appears your sump pit is not too full of water, so I am going to assume the pump is working fine and it is doing the job. There is no water over the pump. That's a good thing.
It filled while we were looking. I don't think it filled for even a minute, and it didn't fill much. I couldn't even tell by looking if it actually filled at all. I could see it gurgling down by the handle thing. Then it released water and the clunk came from the pipe in the wall.
That's exactly what it should do.
So that big hole never gets even half full? Really not even much fuller than it is in the picture?
It shouldn't really get much above the pump. If the pump is failing to work, then the tank will fill and the basement will flood. So I like how it looks and consider it working well.
Why is it making so much noise? The basement is very wet.
If the basement is wet, then the water is coming in from other areas. The pump is working hard. That's why it's louder than normal.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll see if I can find out where it's coming from. Thank you.
Unless it sounds like a blender, the pump is fine. As for the clunking sound, the check valve may have lost a rubber gasket inside that kept it quiet. You're welcome. Good luck. It is not always easy to locate groundwater leaks through concrete. Is there anything further I can do to assist you this evening?
It does sound kind of like a blender. Actually, it wasn't as loud when I was standing next to it. Sorry for the delays. I had to get my son on dialysis. I was running back and forth.
No problem, I understand. I am not really concerned with the pump operation, as I believe it is working quite well. If it isn't making a grinding sound, then there is no worries. A simply motor sound is normal. A blender with ice in it kind of sound is not.
No ice blending sound. So it sounds like I have bigger problems than the sump pump. This is the second or maybe third time this has happened, and the only times my basement has gotten this wet. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. It is my pleasure to assist you. Sometimes with heavy rains this also happens to my basement, and I have a great pump system. It's unavoidable. Good luck with your basement problem.
I will. Thank you again.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.